Hi, I am Verdaillia Turner, and this is Let's Talk. Today we will continue to take you inside of your schools, and I will interview and have you listen to two young ladies. Combined, they have about 50 years of experience with our children and in our classrooms. They're doing wonderful work in our fourth largest school district, Dekalb County, Georgia. And we're going to start with Miss Brenda Rosser. Hey, Brenda.
Hey, hi. Hello, so I'm Brenda Rosser, and I've been with DeKalb County for many, many years, and I'm an assistant to teachers, which is a paraprofessional. I love working with kids, and I've now made up in my mind that I do want to go back to school and become a teacher. But with the money that I make, it's kind of complicated, and it's a long story, but I have made up my mind that I do want to go back.
So we're going to start with that then. So give us a range of your annual salary, what paraprofessionals make.
Well, it can be anywhere from $19,000 to $23,000 or $24,000 a year, which is pennies, and I get it. But when
so if we did $24,000, let's go on the high end. That's $2,000 a month. And that's taxed?
Yes.
And benefits come out of that?
Yes.
So what do you do extra to make a living? What do you do?
I have part-time jobs, and I say jobs because I do a little this and a little that. And then this summer I'm going to work at a summer camp.
So you won't get what people think usually, that folk who work in schools have all 3 months summer off. We know that's not true. Mm-hmm. So I understand you take care of your mother.
Yes, I'm taking care of my mother with my 3 other siblings, but she's getting better. She had a little injury, but she's getting better. So that was very taxing, along with working.
So you have about 20 years experience, I understand?
Yes, close to 20 years. Yes.
And so when you retire, if you retire with 30 years, if you go that long, you will have about 60% of your salary. And if your salary topped off at $24,000, we're talking about what, $14,000-$15,000 a year,
which is penny still.
Yeah, you'd be living in poverty actually.
Yeah,
and plus you have to pay for some of your benefits.
Yes.
So you work with teachers and you work with students.
Yes.
What are some of those things that you come out of pocket with to help your students succeed in your schools?
Well, I do like an incentive, because my kids, if you work with the kids, you can get them to do a lot. So I do incentives. I go get treats. I buy a lot of treats and everything like that. So then that way I know that they'll get the work done, and I know that they'll be excited to do it. So I go out and get incentives that way, and then I sometimes get extra things that they might need to work with to do their work and stuff like that.
Such as?
Pencils and little arts and crafts, little things like that.
So you actually buy those things?
Yes, sometimes I do. Yes.
So now you work, I think, grades 1 through 3. So that means you work with different teachers?
Yes, I work with different teachers.
And your job constantly, does it change with those teachers and assignments? And so you seems like a lot of flexibility.
Yes, it's a lot of flexibility, and it's also a lot of pulling. You can be doing something over here and love doing it, but then you get pulled to do something else because either the teacher is not there, or you got to fill in for when someone else is not there. So, you get pulled from the kids that you're working with, and they go, "Oh, Miss Rosa, don't leave," But then it's.
And so when someone is not there, do you actually teach the students?
Yes, we have to fill in. Yeah, because I mean that's
and are
that's
you paid
our job.
any extra for doing that?
No, we're not paid any extra, but that's our job, to be there.
That's your job.
To assist the teachers, and if the teacher's not there, we have to just assist to be there.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to come back to you, and now I will introduce I've already introduced her, but this teacher has about 29 years of service, and in just talking to her, this is Miss Mona Lisa Ward, and in talking to Miss Ward earlier, she was telling me how she used to be a substitute teacher and what went on in that school. And you were a substitute also?
Oh, no. I said, excuse me.
Oh, okay. So, Mrs. Ward, I understand that you also work with paraprofessionals. They work with you. So, tell us anything that you want us to know. and your grade and et cetera. And I understand also, I'm sorry, you have 2 daughters that you successfully raised to go to college.
Yes.
And you did that while you were teaching?
Absolutely.
Uh-huh. All right, go ahead.
It's a job in and of itself. Thank you for having me here. My name is Mona Lisa Ward, and I've been teaching since 1992. And I've been on this journey a long time, and things have changed. When I first started on this journey, you know, you come into teaching with all of this passion and that you're going to just change the world, and you're here to inspire children just to do their best so that they can make the world a better place to live in. And then once you get into the classroom trenches, you realize that what you went to college to do, that it's almost a challenge to implement in the classroom, because there are so many jobs that you're given as a teacher to do. Sometimes you're teaching small groups, social things that counselors are expected to teach, but then it's included somehow in your day on the master schedule to also do these things. You're also having to deal with children who come to school sick, and you're taking care of them. You send them to the clinic, but parents are not picking the children up when they're sick, and so they're in the classroom with you. And you're trying to care for them as well as run your classroom.
So have either you ever taught special needs students?
I've co-taught, and what people need to understand is that when you're co-teaching, that's under the umbrella of special education. And so those children are in the classroom, being taught with the regular
setting.
Yeah, they're in the regular setting. And there are a lot of things that teachers are having to do extra, even with a co-taught teacher in the classroom, because you are servicing all of the students. And sometimes I feel like, you know, I didn't go to school for special education, and so where is the training? Well, you don't have the training because they're saying this is what you should be able to do.
So it's OJT.
Yes.
Tell us some of those special needs that you all have run into as it relates to students.
Well, mine's is behavioral.
Most definitely.
It's a lot of, behavior with special need. And
now when you say behavior, describe some of the behavior. And the other students are mainstreamed, they're mainstreamed. So in other words, the kids are together, for folks that don't know what mainstream means.
yeah, I mean, if you have a child that has it has not been labeled to say that this is a special need, but you've been been working it so long, you know that there is a special need there, and the child has not been labeled, and you know that that child can go from 0 to 100 like that quick, and you gotta calm him down and make sure he don't do anything to hurt himself or the other kids. But you also got 18 other kids looking at you like, well, how are you gonna handle him, that he's acting that way? So it's mostly behavior, But
because we understand some of your coworkers are putting what you call traits into kids. A lady talked to me the other day about some of the things that she's doing.
Well, I haven't experienced that.
What you saying, doing character traits?
No, like medical.
Medical. Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of people have to go through a lot of different things in their classrooms, and I'm fortunate that I haven't experienced that.
Because some special needs go up at age 22 by law.
Yeah, some people have
to dry kids.
Yeah, they have to change diapers. They have to change traits. They have to do a lot of things. Yeah, and that's very, very demanding, and that's a lot. So
I want both of you to comment about some of the changes you've seen since COVID and some of the challenges that you're going through with the students. In fact, Mona Lisa, if I can call you that, you're the beautiful Mona Lisa, was telling me before we started that although school is out, some of the kids didn't want to leave.
Right.
And we're glad to hear that. But tell us about some of the challenges that COVID presented for you and how you're overcoming those challenges.
Okay. For me, as a classroom educator, one needs to understand that the children were behind. 1, 2, 3, and 4 grade levels prior to COVID.
Right.
And so when COVID hit, that even expanded that gap in their learning. And before COVID, this wasn't being addressed. And so now suddenly COVID, we can't just blame COVID as the sole issue to why there's a gap in learning, because it was already there. But what we can do is get to the real problem, and that is to have more certified educators into the classroom. And you can use the data to determine that. If the data is low, and it's extremely low, then that means you need to have more than one certified teacher in the classroom, as well as sometimes 2 more paras in there to meet the educational needs of the children.
In a classroom.
In one classroom, yeah, because for one teacher to differentiate with all of those grades, you just say, for instance, if you teach 3rd grade and you have children coming to you and they're on a pre-K, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and some are on 3rd grade level, that is really difficult to do. It's a challenge in and of itself. And it just really, I don't care how excellent of a teacher you are, it can't be done. I can't teach to all those different levels. Yeah. There's no way I can do that.
And not do a master job.
Exactly,
right.
Yeah.
So, in saying that, let's talk about parental support. Your average classes would be anywhere like from 19 to 25 students.
Right.
27. And parental support is key. What percentage, Brenda, would you say parents that you have seen, let's say this past year, or talked to, and just elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, with me being a paraprofessional, my job is to assist a teacher, not to set up anything like that. But from what I've viewed just by being in the classroom, the percentage of that is very low, and it could be better. I really don't know how to just like throw out a number without being right or wrong, but if there was more parent involvement, then the kids would be in a better place.
Okay.
So what we want is more parent involvement.
So we'll let Mona Lisa talk about it.
Yeah.
Yes, I can add to that. Out of having like 25 students, and I have participation from about 7 parents out of 25 students. So that is very low.
Less than 1/3.
Yes.
So do you all have to ever call the parents and talk with them?
Yes.
And give us some examples of how you're received when you call parents about anything, be it academics, be it behavior, be it something extra going on at the school.
Okay.
Just give us just tell us what's happening.
Before school starts, I think we start off trying to develop a rapport with parents. And so I call all of my parents way before school starts to just tell them a little bit about myself, and that, I'm excited about teaching the children, and that how I am excited also about working with them. And so I try to call my parents like every month, but a lot of times parents are in the bed, and if you're calling them early in the morning, it's like you're disturbing me. Why are you calling me this early? Well, because I couldn't reach you during the afternoon, so I'm trying here. You're trying to, call on your lunch break.
Right.
When you have, lunch break, you're trying to call on your lunch break. When you have a special, such as PE, art, I'm calling during that time too, trying to reach parents. And it's very difficult to reach parents because they move a lot. And so the numbers that they're giving teachers,
it's not a working number.
And so you really want to tell them how you can help your children at home. Just give them specific information and advice of what to do to help your child make a better test score, since systemically it's all about testing.
Yes.
And so
more than educational child development. Right.
Definitely. So
that industry.
Yeah, and so I'm always calling parents, trying to provide that guidance about what you can do at home to assist your child with, and how to check the book bags daily, because oftentimes I've had to take children to the assistant principal's office to show the principal that, look, this book bag has information in here from August. It's February. And so the homework is still here. And so we really need parents to be engaged because it takes that village to raise a child.
So Ron Edmonds, educator, was one known for saying all children can learn, and all children can learn. They can learn something. So help us understand, beyond what you teach or expected to teach academically, what you have to do socially and emotionally, what children come to school and teach you. In other words, what are they ready to do? What are they picking up outside the classroom? What are some of their skills?
Games.
Those games, yeah.
Yep.
They're big on
Video
the
games. They love video games. Anything electronic, anything electronical, anything digital, anything computer-wise, anything with a handheld. They just love.
So they're turned on to that.
Yeah, they
TikTok.
love.
What is it? Instagram.
Stuff that they shouldn't be on.
Right.
They love it. But
they're able to do those things.
They
Do you
are
have
able.
any challenges in the classroom with kids with cell phones or anything at that young age?
Well, I don't. Where we are,
Okay.
I don't have that problem
No, I don't
because
have
it's
challenge with
a
them.
rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
We know they have them, but
Right.
they can't have them.
Well, let's talk about IT. That's just period. So would you say that we're up to par or could do a better job, or what would you recommend that we do to help integrate more technology into classrooms that could enhance the academic experience?
Well, I think we can do a better job. I think it's people who work at the district who are over IT. Let's say like when COVID hit, we were just thrown to just go virtual. But parents did not have an understanding of how it works. And so they were expecting teachers to teach the parents, but you're IT. And so I think that if they would have had classes for parents, before you tell them, hey, open it up and just let's roll with
Let
it.
that roll back a minute. You were expected to teach the parents.
Yes.
Well, a lot of parents they're not computer savvy. They don't understand how to get on. They don't understand how to register their kids, and they have never touched a computer. So the COVID, it did a lot of bad things as far as putting people behind if they're not familiar with the computer, because at this point they had to be familiar with the computer to help their kids.
And it also revealed a lot of things, didn't it?
so the kids start slacking and lacking because the parent couldn't help them.
Slacking and lacking.
Yeah.
So tell us about internet access. Did any of the parents that you know have problems with that, or have you all had any of that in your schools?
Until this day, there is still connectivity issues in the school building. Sometimes the computer will just shut off altogether. And so if you're a virtual teacher, you're not able to reach your virtual students, while you're in the building. And when it's putting in a request to get it done just takes a long time. Just anything,
It takes a long time to get a requisition.
The technical difficulties.
So if you're an emergency room doctor, you'd really be in trouble. Probably have some
You'd be in
dead
trouble.
patients.
Yeah.
I'm putting words in your mouth, but I taught school for years.
So
So I'm leading the people being interviewed. So would you both elaborate on how teachers and paraprofessionals work together? How you plan together, work together, some of the challenges, some of the things that you do well, some of the things that we could do better.
Well, I want to start off by saying that paraprofessionals need to be paid more money, period, because they are doing the job of the teacher. I mean, we're doing the same things in the classroom. You're expected to work in groups with children, to conduct groups.
Yes.
And you're expected to also have a rapport with parents, and parents are in on our conferences when we're conferencing with teachers. And they're doing a lot of jobs that we implement in the classroom. You help with all the daily structures. I mean, from that master schedule, the bell-to-bell instructional schedule, they're there with us implementing everything that I do as a teacher.
Yes.
The para is doing it as well.
and especially during the teacher shortage.
Yes.
So Brenda, you said that you want more courses and you want to go back now to be a fully certified teacher.
Yes, because I mean, we have to go to school to become a paraprofessional. We walk away with debt and bills to become a paraprofessional. So not only do we're not getting paid, but we also have outstanding debt, and we
Just
also
to become
have,
a paraprofessional.
Yeah, and you can't just come into the school thinking you can work with kids. There are a lot of stipulations that you have to pass to become a para, and I think that's why a lot of us get stuck as being a para, because once you get in there and you want to go back and you want to do this and then life happens. Like I'm an older para, so life has happened, and I have a 25-year-old, and I have things that consist of my life being like busy to where I'm actually upset that I did get stuck at an associate, and then I was going into my classes to get my bachelor's, but I was 2 points from a math class that I failed, and it just broke my spirit, But I still have debt that I got to pay back. I still have stipulations to get into the county, because they're not going to just let anyone work with the kids. There are a lot of things we have to do just like teachers in order to get in there to work with kids. So if we're doing all of that and we're not getting paid, it breaks your spirit, But if you love kids and you know that you go in there to make a difference in someone's life and you see that smile on their face, it makes you just keep on pushing.
So you all are missionaries, I would say, more so than mercenaries, because I was looking at your years of experience.
Yeah, I love working with kids.
Yeah.
And, I hate it when, we have our kids that are less fortunate, that just don't get anything. And once we give them a hug, once we give them, you can do it, or once we give them that smile, and like I was explaining to you all that, at the end of the school year, they start acting out, because at this point they're not ready to go home. And then they already done sat home for the pandemic. That was disappointing, that they had to be home. And then, now you got to turn around, school's out, summer's out, and, they don't get that love, attention, and warmth that they need throughout the year.
And I think that's why it makes them so needy.
Yeah.
Because they are missing that emotional connect from the home environment, because the home environment, there are so many different dynamics that the children, they're babies. They can't deal with all those dynamics from the home environment. And so when they come to school, it's just like we have so many of them in the classroom that it's an expectation that we're trying to meet all of these things, plus implement the state standards. But here you have a child who has an emotional and social deficits, and that has to be met first before any type of academics
can get done.
Is instilled in them.
Can either of you recall teaching sisters and brothers of kids that you recently taught? Or
Yes.
You
Yes.
can?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and so let's talk about collaboration. We know that lawyers collaborate in law firms, doctors collaborate over patients as much as they can, and they network. And one of you teach second grade again?
Yes.
And you teach sometimes first through third grade. So how much real time is allowed for you all to collaborate? Some people have the same students, or the student is going to first grade, second grade next year, third grade next year, so that the teachers can actually talk about the child and whether the child is progressing, what kind of prescription we can write as professionals. How much real collaboration are you all allowed to do during the work week?
Well, for me, as a teacher over the years, there is not real, true collaboration, because teachers are pulled away to do other things, such as have meetings for RTI meetings.
Tell us what RTI is.
Response to intervention, and that's another process in and of itself that should be implemented by a full-time certified teacher instead of having the teacher take on that full-time job.
A lot of paperwork involved.
It's extreme. Yeah. It's excruciating processes. Yeah, and so we're pulled to do that, and so I can't plan with the paraprofessional or the other teachers about instruction. I'm not able to pull activities that I need to do that are going to match the state standards because I'm pulled away. And then on other days, there is staff development.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but you all don't get paid enough either, because sometimes even when you're sitting there saying you want to be a teacher, you get afraid to take on that load or that responsibility of it all, because I've worked with some great teachers, awesome teachers, but they're burnt out because they get so much overhead, so much truckload of this and truckload of that. Everything just get piled on them. So.
Yeah. And we're always expected to, I would say, pick up something that someone else can't finish. Say let's say for instance, if the counselor didn't get an opportunity to call a parent like she's supposed to do, then it gets thrown to me to call the parent. Well, I couldn't call the parent, because I'm teaching from this bell-to-bell instructional schedule, but you're expecting me to, when someone can't get to their job, then give it to the teacher, then let the teacher handle it. And so you're just pulled away in so many ways from really true planning and true time to gather activities and to do what I need to do. Just time to focus. I mean, I think that everything that a teacher needs to do needs to be placed on the master schedule. So if you want me to do grades, it needs to be on that schedule too. Because oftentimes teachers go home and they're spending 2 hours trying to put in grades. And so everything that you need a teacher to do, it needs to be on that master bell to
grades. You didn't say checking.
Yeah, just put in grades. Yeah. There are a lot of things that we're doing. You're even going home to look at the lesson plans because you didn't get a chance to collaborate with your paraprofessional and the other teachers that are on the team. And so that really takes away from instruction because everything gets blamed on instruction and education.
Yes.
It does. And I'm seeing that trend that, there's a problem, teacher instruction, when it's
almost
not.
an evidence-free profession, if we want to call it a profession at all.
Right, yeah, and those processes come from the top and from leaders in the building. And so we're not creating the process that we know will work for us. We're implementing what other people tell us to do, and these things are not working in the classroom. But if I can be the teacher that I went to college to be, then I can really do my job and do it in an exceptional way. But when I'm having all these other things to do, like you're saying, you're just piling things on me, and you're implementing initiatives. You have this initiative, that initiative to do. Let's do this.
Then the expectation would be so high.
And that's more
somebody's
work.
dissertation you're fulfilling, or some, or some contractor, or some consultant, or some new idea without any evidence behind it.
And the initiatives are not. They're not initiatives that help me as a teacher in the classroom reach my students academically. I think a lot of initiatives that the districts give teachers to do, even administrators apply for initiatives, they really pull me away from doing real teaching. And it's like it's window dressing the schools. We can't continue to window dress our schools and say we're doing it. Because we're window dressing. We have our IB schools, we have our STEM schools, we have our
Visual arts schools.
Yes, our performing arts school. But you have those schools, but yet your test scores are low. And so when you keep throwing initiative after initiative on the teacher,
our jobs.
We can't do our jobs. We can't increase the test scores because we're getting this initiative. You're dressing the school for
Let me ask both of you this. Are your meetings relevant? And I know that, yes or no, most of the meetings that you have that administrators may be calling. This is not to pick on principals because they're usually taking edicts in for somebody else. But how relevant are the meetings that you have? And then speak to how relevant are the trainings that you may have, or in-service, or the classes that you may have. Tell us about that.
They're very relevant. I mean, they're very helpful, but then with the expectation of it all, they expect for you to do all of it. So if you're introducing another another thing for me to do, along with all the other 50 things that I'm now doing, that burns the teacher out, because at this point, that's what they're doing to them. They pile stuff on them. I mean, it can be very, very relevant. But if I can't get around to doing it, and I'm doing this, and this,
doing it or measuring it, to see whether or not it's effective, whatever intervention we're using.
It's complicated, and that's why a lot of like when the pandemic hit, a lot of people went ahead and just said, you know what, I'm not even teaching anymore. They walked away from what they loved doing because the demand was too high. You want me to do this, now you want me to add on virtual, but then you think because I'm home and I'm doing virtual that it's easy, so you can pile more. Now you're making it even more complicated. So it's sad that a lot of teachers left, but they did it because of the mental state of it all. That can be very, very mentally draining.
Exhale for just one little minute, and they said, I can do this another way because my personal life means more.
And that's why they left. And you can understand, but then the children suffer. And then they started doing incentives for you to stay, which were good incentives. I mean, but it just wasn't enough.
It's not enough,
because because
systemically we have problems.
We have problems
in this so-called profession. Let's get serious about educating them.
And you're right. Expectations are too demanding.
It's very demanding
on the teacher. It's just really depleting the teacher of life and energy. I mean, if I go to work and I have to do all of these things for
you're exhausted.
Other children that are not my own. When I get home, I'm so depleted. I can't even give my children what they need. And
I'm gonna say something personal here, y'all. That's one of the reasons why I did not have children, and I don't care what y'all think about this. It's because my mother and father were going to probably go to jail if I did and I wasn't married. Okay, that's another story. But another reason is because I taught high school. I was so darn tired.
Them kids
every day. And I said, how in the world can I come home and raise them? So I really salute the teachers that do that, and the parents, because your parents also. I mean, you are the guardians of society, and what happens is that if we don't treat the teachers right, we can't treat the children right, and it's just a big loop, and they graduate and they become parents, and we want people to be productive in society. So we have to get the root straight. It's just not about who's in office right now or who's going to be the next whatever, because politicians are not in those classrooms. We're the ones in those classrooms. So I'm going to bounce around a little bit, because we had an earlier conversation and we were talking about teacher preparation, etc. And when I went to college and I had a double major, and then I student taught, and that's usually the fourth year, one of my friend girls, when she student taught, decided not to teach, and it was her fourth year. She said, oh my God, I chose this profession, I shouldn't have chose this profession. So it's now, I'm out. But we've had now the state of Georgia, other states may be doing this, relaxing standards as it relates to teacher, I wouldn't say prep, but I would say what's necessary in order to teach, requirements. And what our State Department recently said is that they were going to let the agencies decide. And we're looking at different agencies. Some of these are private companies, and some of them are out of the state. And I've noticed that some paraprofessionals, one told me recently she's paying $4,700 a course, and she has to take, what was it, $4,700 a course? And out of state, and she has to take 6 courses. I said, well, what? Another one said, no, it's more like $470 a course, but still you into the thousands when you finish.
And they're spending their own money.
They're spending their own money to do this. And so some of the counties are, I guess, entering contracts and or promoting these companies to prepare teachers, and they're being prepared in different ways. But we found that when we get in the classroom, that teachers such as yourselves are great mentors and teachers of other teachers. I haven't seen a whole lot of value put on that in the state of Georgia. And as professionals, you know who should be there and who can make it. And as professionals, more than likely, you've helped others develop their skills and their art and their pedagogy in teaching. So we have money that's put into developing teachers. I'm not going to try to pick on Teach for America because many young people already degreed want to teach.
Right.
But I have found a lot of Teach for America personnel, once they get into those classrooms, leave after they get the loan paid off.
Right.
Or they love it so well until they start running for office and working at City Hall or on school boards. They love teaching so well, though, okay? They love it so well. But so you all tell us about how you were trained. You told us a little bit about your training. And then tell us what you think about some of these programs that are, I call them popcorn teachers. Let me see again. There are some good Teach for America people. But I have found others that run right out of that classroom that said, I had no idea. Any experience with people from Teach for America, teachers?
Well, you made a
Yeah, I've had experience with Teach for America. It was at it's a theme school, a magnet school. It was a magnet school. And I went in being a literacy coach, and I would go into the classroom with the new teachers, and they were already burnt out. And it's because they have not been through that 4-year or 5-year process training that you receive from a university or a college. I think their time is shortened to come into the classroom and be a teacher, and they just don't know what to expect. And so when they get into that environment, and especially of a Title I type situation, they're not remaining in the classroom because it's just a burn. You're being burnt out early, like within a year, and they're not staying. They're leaving. I mean,
so in some of those top countries, we talk about Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. We're going to develop that more for the audience to know later. Teachers train teachers. You know, they're apprentices, they're journeymen, they become teachers, they become master teachers, or they are counseled out of the profession. Because in some of those top countries, teaching and what you do is a real profession because you're the ones doing the job. So you write the prescriptions. So you found some Teach for America young people that's not prepared. Nothing wrong with them professionally, but they're not prepared for what you deal with every day.
What you deal with every day, and they're just not sustaining in the profession.
Okay. So there are two more things I want to touch on. We hear people talking about a choice movement. And there are some things that our schools need to develop because we can't be all things to all people, such as music and performing arts, because we know the correlation between that and learning. We'll talk about that in another setting. But your school district, my school district, Dekalb, received $500 million just for the CARES Act. And for Forsyth County, I read a little bit about what they received. And it was based on Title I. What are some of the ways that CARES Act money you have seen that really help you in the classroom? Some evidence. You just answered it. You want to go ahead? Ask more? You want to say anything?
Well, you know, I was hearing on the news that schools receive money for deep cleaning, and there has never been any evidence of deep cleaning.
Do you clean at all?
Oh, yes, I clean. I bring my own products to clean. I also send notes home and ask parents to donate things to clean the desk and, you know, to wipe down the pencil sharpener. And yes, I clean.
That's a rhetorical question. You knew I knew the answer to that.
Yeah, I even clean the floor, you know, because, you know, like parents do send their children to school sick. You know, and they're vomiting, and so I want it clean, you know, because I know what it does
germs
for other children, you know, and I need to protect myself because I have to go home to my family. You know.
There was one district, and we are going to talk about the CARES Act money that put in a requisition for special needs dog. What you call those dogs, y'all? The caring dogs, the dogs that are in the restaurant, in the hotel rooms, everywhere. It was special assistant.
Like a social something.
$350,000 was what that district asked for. So, and of course, this person did pull the requisition. So when we hear people talk about tax dollars, there's a reason. why people are screaming about taxes going up, and how the money is spent. So we will talk about that choice movement. We have choices in public schools. What are some of the things that public schools do well that you think that the general population does not know?
We take care of our babies.
You take care of everybody. Everybody comes through those doors. I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, we take care of our babies.
Because
That's
choice could be a way of segregating out. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's one thing I can say. We take care of our babies.
We take care of them.
We love our students.
We love our students.
Public schools take care of America.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah.
And so when people say choice, it's a new form of segregation, y'all.
Yeah.
We've had choice. You can spend choice on developing the community, helping parents, making sure resources are spent well, making sure parents in the community understand those budgets, helping us to get an expanded curriculum in those schools. But usually what we see behind choice is somebody making some money. And I keep saying we're going to develop all this later, and we are going to develop all of this later. You know, we're not against people who can pay for private education.
Right.
We happen to know what private schools do, zero tolerance.
Zero
But we
tolerance.
take care of everybody.
We do. In so many ways. Emotionally, socially, mentally, we're doing it all.
So we're going to wrap this up, and what I want Miss Brenda Rosser to do is just to talk from her heart for about 2 minutes and tell Georgia anything that is on your heart and your mind, period, about how to take care of you as you take care of children, or how to help you next year in the classroom, how to help you develop your professional skills, etc. Just talk to us.
Well, wow. My main goal right now is to go back to school and become a certified teacher and to help more kids, because I just love working with kids, and I want to do more for my community with the kids. And so I feel like if I get back in school and make more money, I can be, better for the community.
So I'm sure there's somebody out there, we have not because we asked not, that heard this young lady. If you want to help her, I know we're going to try to help everybody. But she asked, she told us.
But there's a lot of parents that needs help. So when I'm talking about myself, I'm talking about parents in general. All of us, we want that help. We want that push. We want that extra, So when I'm saying me, it ain't just Brenda. It's all parents, because I have a lot of, co-workers that I know for a fact would love to go back to school also.
Yes.
And I do have a friend that's in a program right now that's frustrated and thinking, paying this money out, is it going to pay off? So I just want that to pay off for her, because I couldn't do it, But I mean, if you're able to do it, then I'm happy that she was able to do it. But I just want to see her reach her goal, and all my other coworkers who wants to go back to school become a certified teacher. Because it's just kind of difficult for you to do things that you really want to do and not making enough money.
So you're up with mobility or vacations, or even if you can get a massage, it's almost non-existent.
Right.
Like your breaks and lunchtime is almost non-existent.
It's too extra. So but it's just trust the Lord and just keep pushing and know that this too shall pass and great things will come.
Everybody that's making policy, see how sweet she is? That does not take anybody off the hook. What she just said, from doing tangible things to help. So now, Mrs. Mona Lisa Ward, talk to us.
I would like to say that since America overall sees teachers as nation builders, then I think teachers need to receive a nation builder salary, as well as paraprofessionals. Pay us what we're worth, because we do a lot. We do a lot to make life better for the community, for the students that we teach. And so we do need higher wages as educators. I would also like to say that in terms of self-care, teachers should be given, I think, a budget from the CARES Act money. You can find it somewhere so that we can do self-care the way we need to do it, and not in the form of a process where people from the district say, hey, take this vaping class, this is self-care. Well, that's not self-care for me because I don't vape. And a lot of self-care is offered during the time that I'm on that master schedule teaching. And so therefore, in order for it to be self-care, it needs to be in the form that I need self-care. And some teachers might need to see a therapist. And so we don't have those funds to see a therapist. And so we need other ways to do self-care in the way that we need to do self-care. And I would also like to say, just take care of your teachers so we can take care of our students in the way that we know how to take care of them. And have a better understanding of what we do by coming into the school and being engaged in your child's education. And you will see on a daily basis what teachers do, all of the things that teachers are doing to help children succeed, because we really do want children to succeed. We entered this profession because we do love what we do. We love teaching our children, and we want to instill in them community, that we're not just here for ourselves and to serve ourselves, but we're here for everyone. And so just help us, because we know as teachers what we need, and we need to be empowered as teachers, and we're not empowered, but we do need that to be empowered so that we can give our children the best education that they deserve here in America.
So paid sabbaticals for teachers so that they can do some other things to help the school, the students, and the community. Then they can come back into the classroom. Paid and better benefits for our teachers, like top dental insurance, top health insurance would help out. And just how decisions are made, empowering teachers. Thank you for saying that.
You know what?
Yes.
One more thing. If some type of way the county, the district could help out with paying student loans, that would help teachers as well. Yeah.
And we do want to thank, and we're going to give you all some information on how some of those student loans are paid. And I want to thank you all for telling me if it go up to $10,000, sometimes it's just interest alone. Without being political, we're going to say thank you again to Governor Kemp for one of the largest raises that we have received across the board.
Yes,
we really
you.
do appreciate that. Teachers,
wholeheartedly.
One time, one of our beloved governors did a political thing with changing the flag, and we're kind of glad of that. But then tenure was taken. People didn't understand that, and teachers had power, and that governor lost office. And this governor, of course, I'm not doing a campaign speech for anybody, did help teachers out with the $5,000.
Yes.
And we're going to come back next year and talk about that windfall law with the taxes. And oh God, I'm forgetting the proper name, y'all. But anyway, I don't have gray hair for nothing. But how teachers in 15 states and state workers are penalized if they get any form of Social Security and they are part of the teacher retirement or either the state system of retirement. Folk don't know that until they start getting older, because younger teachers, we're not thinking about anything like that. So we're going to wrap it up. We want you to subscribe, and we want you to like us. And we hope that we have been of service, and we want to thank these two young ladies for taking out their time
And thank you
today.
for having me.
Thank you, ladies.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.